Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Conscious Kitchen podcast. This is the Conscious Tea, where we have the extension of the podcast and we are talking today about energy, healing, and energy breath work. And we're going to be bringing in Riana, who is an amazing light worker based in Hawaii. She's also a creative DJ, and she does a multitude of creative projects for her community. She also does her own candles, and she's just a great small business owner that I feel like you guys should completely support. And she's really wonderful. So please join us today we're going to be doing some grounding breaths and somatic exercises for the holidays. If you're feeling stressed or you have any anxiety, go ahead and share this with a friend right now if they're interested in learning about breath work. And we're just going to wait for a few more people to come in. And we're so excited to have Riana, and Liz will be joining us as well, my co-host. And I'm going to go ahead and let these on in. So let's go ahead and just bring them in.
Hello.
Hey Liz, welcome to the Conscious Tea today.
Yay,
We're going to be waiting for Riana to come in.
Awesome. Okay.
Hey Riana.
Hi.
Hey babe, how are you? Thank you so much for joining today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is cool. I've never had three people on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey Jamie, thank you for joining us today. This is the Conscious Tea, the extension of the Conscious Kitchen podcast, which is our podcast, and we have it streaming worldwide on Apple and Spotify. Hey Chris, hey Vanessa. We have Riana with us today, who's, as I mentioned, is an amazing creative in Hawaii. And we're going to be doing some grounding breaths for the holidays as well. Rihanna, so tell us about yourself. Like, tell us about your practice and tell us about like your energy work in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Well, I just want to shout out all my ladies here. Hi,
Yeah.
Kim. Hi, Jamie. Um, yeah, so I am a first generation Filipina American here in Honolulu,
Woo!
Hawaii. Yeah, I'm born and raised
Awesome.
here, but I'm not Hawaiian. And yeah, doing this work, especially being a first generation, healing all our ancestral traumas is so important to me. And because Hawaii is mostly BIPOC, it's even more so important that we tap into these gifts that we've been doing and our ancestors have been doing for a really, really long time. And I've actually been experimenting with energy healing ever since I was a child. Being Filipino, when we're young, we're always encouraged to massage our elders. Even when we are sick, my grandma would always massage me just to kind of like manipulate whatever low energy or sick energy out of the body. And it wasn't till I became certified in Reiki 1 and 2 that I've been doing this all my life. And it's not a gift that was given to me by someone I didn't know. It was from my ancestors and my lineage. So it's very, very important to me to always pay tribute to my ancestors. And I always encourage that for all of my students and my clients as well. But yeah, that's just a little bit. And then I do all the things. I do too many things sometimes.
Yeah, I was looking at your Instagram and you dance and you do so many things. You have a podcast as well?
No,
Okay.
everyone keeps asking me to do one, but I'm just like, where am I gonna fit this in, like, into everything I do? But
Right.
I do a For the Collective monthly message on Instagram,
Okay.
and I upload that on my website. So that I guess that would be kind of like a podcast,
Kind
except
of,
I only
yeah.
do it once a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I saw the last
Yeah.
one, December message, discernment and integration. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no, so every month I channel a message for the whole collective, and the main messages that came through were about budgeting, which is hilarious because when we think of budgeting, we think of money, analytical things, logistic things, but in a sense, it was more so discerning and budgeting what is our energy capacity for December, even going into January, like what do we have the energy and the time for now moving into the new year? What are we letting go and what are we calling in to replace those things that aren't just aligning with us anymore? And you hear that a lot. Like that's a repeated line in wellness or any kind of like witchcraft or anything like that. It always talks about the rebirth of things, the death of things, you know, and we're very much into that. But this time it's we're being called to be more aware of it. Like we are the one consciously saying like, no, I don't have time for this. Yes, I have time for this. Do I have the time for this, but do I have the energy for this? You know, so it's about weighing, using measurements like that, but and then integrating all the lessons that we've been incorporating this past year or even the past 6 months, to bring forth into the new year. And yeah, that's basically the message for that.
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, that's
Really
Yeah.
so
great.
special. Yeah, it's really so important, right? For us to just be in line and in tune with what our heart and what our soul is really wants out of the day or out of the month, and just really question yourself on how much do I have to offer? How much do I need for myself?
Right, especially during the holidays, you know, like our boundaries get so blurred, especially with like family members and friends and, you know, all the social activities. We find ourselves saying yes to everything because we're like, well, it's the holidays, but at the end of the day, we're like burnt out or we're resentful because we're exhausted, you know? So especially now is the time to be even more discerning, more stricter with your boundaries because in the end it'll give you more freedom for yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Hey,
yeah.
Zans. Zans is actually someone I wanted to connect you with who's also an amazing
Yeah.
light worker and healer. So this is
Oh,
Riana. This is you guys get
nice.
to meet. So yeah, you guys are both amazing women. So Rihanna, tell us about somatic breathing for people that don't know about somatic breathing and why is it beneficial for us this holiday season?
Right. So somatics, and this is kind of like how I interpret it. Somatics deals with the body, and a lot of the time people we separate the mind and the body when the best part of ourselves is when we are attuned to both, when we have everything in alignment, everything connected together. And breath is actually the vehicle that connects the mind and the body together. So I like to always include some kind of physical body movement whenever I do breath work. And even when I do energy healing, I like to lead my client into some somatic exercises right before just to ground them, from wherever they came from, you know, whether that's commuting on the way there. And it's such a good anchor. And yeah, I love making the connection between the two.
Really great. Yeah, I see that, every time I'm sure a lot of clients rush to get to you. So it's like also stressful, like driving and getting there on time. It
Yes.
could be very stressful. So I guess that could be anything that we arrive at life, right?
Yeah. And it was so interesting because recently I went to Oakland and one of my friends was actually having a really tough time. Like she felt very heavy in her chest, and we were doing somatic exercises right outside of the restaurant. We were supposed to go to dinner, and like even just doing that for like a minute, like just kind of helped grounded her. I mean, it didn't cure the problem, obviously, but it just at least it helped her feel a little bit more anchored down.
Really great. All right, cool. So we're going to be doing a live of somatic breathing. But one more thing I'd
Yeah.
like to ask you is like, how can we incorporate doing this more into our lives or just our daily practices?
Yeah. So whether or not you meditate, and meditating can look like anything. There's so many different versions of meditation, and it's not even just like sitting down, closing your eyes, you know, it's cooking. It's whatever will let you take your mind off of like actually thinking, right? And I think even just breathing, that's still a form of meditation. And right when you wake up, just take a couple like belly breaths, just kind of exhaling out as if you are exhaling out the night before, like if you had a nightmare or you had trouble sleeping the night before, or you just kind of want to get rooted in the day, doing just a deep breath for like 4 seconds, holding it, and then exhaling it out for 4 seconds would do wonders. It's just bringing conscious awareness to your breath in general will really help you and make you less reactive, with your day.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that. I had a therapy session today with my therapist, and he mentioned that the difference between something that actually is happening between your reactive and a thought is like 20 seconds. So it's really
Hmm.
good to, like
Pause.
create that pause and create that space in between your activity and like an impulse or something like a
Mm-hmm.
reactivity. So it's really great. So breathing can also help with that too. Yeah, as you mentioned, just like ground it.
Yes.
Really ground.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
always like to think of like our thoughts as like, I don't know, traffic, and breathing into space in between all those cars instead of them being bumper to bumper, just to give like whatever visualization I can. And that's what helped me when I first started like doing meditation and breath work was breathing space in between, not clearing your mind, but just kind of giving yourself room to pause, right, before that reaction comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I realize as well, sometimes when I'm feeling fatigued, like, or just looking at a screen so long, like with your iPhone or your laptop, like, I'm like, do I need a nap right now? Or should I just like do some deep breathing? And then, yeah, when I
Mm-hmm.
take time just to meditate or to breathe, I do feel more re-energized because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like my brain fog or my fatigue is like it's taking over. It's like just tap in and relax my mind and just
Right.
relax. Yeah.
Right. And then like that's the beautiful thing about breath. Like it can either energize you or relax you, and I love just how dynamic it is. I used to when I was going to get my nursing degree and I was actually working as a nurse aide at a hospital and I worked through COVID. I was introduced to breathwork to kind of anchor me and ground me because it was such a crazy time, right? And I had anxiety every time I went in. So every time I would do like a breathwork right before I would clock in, and I would just feel much more grounded and not as frantic when I'd work, because I
Mhm.
was working in ER triage. I was like the first person you saw
Wow.
when you would get
So stressful.
COVID. Yeah,
Yeah.
so stressful. I was depressed, and breathwork really helped me gain control like of my life again and just of my reactions, so that's why it's so important to me that everyone learn this. Yeah.
And was
Yeah,
the
and
practice that you started with, like the holding your breath for 4 seconds, was that kind of like your intro into it, or what was your intro into breath work?
So, so that was like my first intro to active breathing, which is
Mm.
pranayama and just that controlled breathing. I actually learned from my mentor, Chanel Durley, and she would host and facilitate these breathwork containers over Zoom. And it was based around like trauma or just going through grief, which was exactly what I was going through at the time. And basically you would breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest, and then exhale out the mouth. And then you would do this cycle breathing for about 20 to 25 minutes. Very intense, lots of tingles, lots of hand cramping. And it's a practice, definitely. But that
Yeah.
was when I realized, like, oh my God, this can get really intense, but
Yeah.
very, very transformative. And that is actually one of the services I do now. Oh, thank you, Ezgi. Sorry, I'm just reading the comment.
No, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's read them. Like,
Yeah,
I'm thankful for your difficulties. So you bring this healing to us, which is such amazing comment.
yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
like I think that's like the thing, right? We learn when we go through it and we grow through it. So I really wanted to share whatever I can, you know.
Yeah, and there's people that like have said that they have almost like psychedelic experiences with like
Yes,
with breath work, and I've
it's like
I've
a
been
body high.
yeah, like actual body high, and it can, like you said,
Yeah.
it can be intense, but it's
Hmm.
the intense moments that we have to get through to kind of like reach whatever we're trying to overcome.
Right, exactly. And then it just helps so much to get more in contact with your emotions. And, the facilitator or myself will help kind of guide you and encourage you to get more in touch, and release those emotions. And that's like the most important thing about breath work is releasing.
yeah. I know the breath is such a life source. We almost take it for granted sometimes.
Hmm.
The only thing we
Exactly.
can't survive on the planet with it is without our breath.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's the first and the last thing that leaves our body, like when we're born and when we die, it's just we forget how big of a deal it is that we can breathe, and a lot of us, we're shallow breathing most of the time throughout our whole life. We're not really remembering that we have this breath that is so powerful and that we can access at any time. We forget, and I get it, but that's why I'm here to remind you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, we're in our bodies every day, and we take so much for granted because we're just in it. And
Right.
then, you know, we have people like you that help us remind ourselves of different things that we can do. So
Right.
that's so, so special. And I just want to
Yeah.
let anyone know that is watching, if you guys have any questions, please, you know, ask away, drop them in the little question box at the bottom, or just drop them in a comment. So this is for you guys too. So if you have any questions, we'd love to, you know, ask Rihanna about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rihanna, in your bio, you mentioned that you also connect people with their authentic selves and self-expression. How does that work with in your process?
I think it's so interesting because I actually didn't really accept that until maybe I quit nursing and realized that that wasn't my authentic self, you know, and that just wasn't me. And me kind of, I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years, and I had to kind of accept like, okay, that's me, you know, and I felt the most at home and the most expansive when I was in that position. And a lot of people out there don't know what that feels like, you know, or they don't really have a example of that, or they don't feel like it's realistic. So when I talk to my clients, you know, most of the time our convos are about empowerment. And I feel like that's how I've kind of, you know, approached my whole life is I just jump. You know, like if I can't do something, I will find a way to do it. If I can't create something, I will find someone who will help me execute it, you know? And I realize that that's not something everyone does, you know, and that it's just how I was brought up. And so I just felt like this was kind of my purpose, you know, in helping others to connect and realize like what their dreams were and that it is possible. And I want everyone to see like this is like, you know, yourselves, this is inspiration that it is possible to pursue the life that you want, to create the life that you want.
Yes, 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 yes. So amazing. And she's also a DJ, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your DJ name?
Oh my God. Okay. So my DJ name is Titabyte, but there's multiple ways you can break it down. The reason why I came up with that name was because I thought an external hard drive was 1 terabyte. I didn't know it was 1 terabyte.
Mm.
Yeah, so everyone started calling me that, and it just so happens I'm Filipina, so tita, you know, is like auntie sister. And
Uh-huh.
then in Hawaii, tita is actually like a pidgin slang word for like I it's hard. It's hard because it's not an appropriate term now, but you know, it's just sister. We'll just say sister.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
really
And there is a
great.
question here from Kim. Someone said,
Yeah.
"Thank you for saying that about I'm not sure, probably just something you just said." And then she said, "What do you feel shame in a way to ask for help, or why do you feel shame in a way to ask for help?"
A lot of it is how we've been brought up. So for me, I've been brought up in a Filipino household. We don't ask for help, period.
Mm.
A lot of it, anytime you'd cry or show any emotion, that it was a sign of weakness. And I was raised by a single parent as well. So even more so, this concealing and protecting of, you know, hiding your emotions to show that you are strong so that no one would like take advantage of you. That's how I was brought up. But for me, it wasn't till my adulthood that I realized, like, you know what, I don't have to repeat that. Like, just because I was brought up this way, just because my family doesn't say I love you to each other, doesn't mean I should not do that. You know, like I can stop that pattern right away. And there is a lot of shame. There's a lot of trauma that surrounds all of that, you know, and it's just about us taking that conscious effort and that willingness to stop that pattern and to heal for our future or when if I ever have kids, you know, for my stepkids, you know. So it's just thinking about the future. Yeah, definitely survival mode. My mom is from the Philippines, so she's definitely been on survival slash scarcity mode for a really long time, and I that's another thing that I'm consciously working on. I'm not perfect, I'm not healed, I'm still working through scarcity 100%, you know, and I think again it's that willingness to keep going through it and working at it. Thank you for that question.
Really great advice, and thank you so being so vulnerable on the live today. Thank you so much. All right, so I guess we can move into some techniques and live breathing. And
Yeah.
I have my little sister here, like she's on the floor, so she hasn't really done anything like this. So if you can just go step by step, and maybe how she can position, how we can all position our bodies and like
Hmm.
get our mind ready for it, that'd be amazing.
So right now we can just sit. You can
Okay.
sit, you can cross-legged on the floor. If you want, you can extend your legs, just stretch them out in front of you. Make sure your back is supported. That way you have something to lean on. And it's up to you if you want to close your eyes or even lower your gaze or even just have your eyes open, whatever is comfortable for you. The most important thing about breath work is that you feel safe. You know, I want you to feel safe. So, I mean, what I like to do is I like to leave my hands in front on top of my knees, kind of like meditation, like opening up your hands. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a deep breath into our belly, and then I want you to use like an open mouth. So like, almost like you're blowing into a balloon. So you can purse your lips that way. But if you want to like open up your jaw a little bit more, especially for those who have like TMJ or like,
Have
yeah,
that.
I clench my teeth all night, girl. So I like to open my mouth. Like I already just clicked doing that, you know? So opening up the mouth and just taking a deep inhale into the belly, like really sending that breath into the belly. So, and then, yep. And then we'll bring it out. Exhale out. Yeah. We can just do a couple rounds of that to start. And I want to share something with you guys from my lineage just to give you more like visualization and context. Um, for Filipinos, we all come from Babaylan, who were shamans, they were healers, they were these powerful women and also trans women and men. And whenever they would use breath work, they felt that every exhale was releasing, letting go of whatever evil or low vibrational things out of your body. And with every inhale that you take, you are gaining more of yourself back. You're coming home to yourself. So I want you to think of that whenever we are breathing, okay? So you can go ahead,
Oh,
relax.
before we start, can you
Yeah,
guys see me? Can you guys see
yeah,
me there?
Yeah, we
Oh,
can
yeah,
see you.
weird.
yeah.
I don't. It's like a little black square where I am, so I thought you couldn't see me. But okay,
Oh,
cool.
yeah, no, we can see you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, again, if you want to close your eyes, lower your gaze, I'll keep my eyes open. So, taking a deep inhale through your mouth, sending it to down to your belly, holding it there, and then exhale out the mouth. There you go. Let's do that again, and I'm going to count you in. So, inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding it for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhaling out the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, inhale. 4. Holding it for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale out the mouth. On your next inhale, with your palms open in front of you, I want you to squeeze your hands tightly into a fist as you're inhaling, squeezing your palms, holding it, holding your grip. And as you exhale, let go. Let go of your breath, let go of your grip. Maybe even wiggle your hands. There you go. Again, both palms squeezing tightly into a fist. Inhale. Hold it. And then exhale out. Let it go. Let go of your grip. Okay. Now, one more time, inhaling, maybe thinking of any emotion that you'd like to leave your body right now. Maybe anxiety, maybe any self doubt. Imagine yourself balling it into a fist as you inhale. Hold it. And as you exhale, let it go. Give it permission to leave your body. There you go. One more, just like that. Inhale. And exhale out. If you want, you can sigh it out. You can go ahead, return to a normal breathing pattern. Maybe shake your arms, shake your hands. Maybe with your eyes still closed or your eyes still lowered, make an intention for today. How do you want to feel as your baseline today? More calm, more grounded. And then inhale that intention and sigh it out. There you go. And when you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open, or if your eyes are open, just open your eyes. Sorry for it's trash day, so sorry for the night. But
That was awesome.
no, but yeah, with meditation and breath work, you should be dealing with all this because it's like life, right? We're dealing with all the distractions all the time. You're never gonna have a perfect setting, you know? So this is good practice to do this at any time. Sometimes I do this in my car right before I go into an event or I have to go DJ. I do this right before a session with all of my clients just to ground myself. And this is just a really good grounding practice to have. And something you can do in the morning. At night, what you can do instead of setting the intention for the day, you call back your energy from wherever you were and just call yourself home and do that grounding meditation. It's just really, you feel amazing right after. Yeah.
I love the visualizations are amazing.
Yeah. How do you feel? She said she feels good. So
Yay,
thank you.
of course.
She's 15, so she's the future. So they need to be with the right tools for success for sure. There she is.
Thanks, Anya.
Yeah, and I think even just the somatic of just squeezing that tense feeling, because a lot of that is we feel it inside, that tense feeling. Sometimes there's areas in our body where we're holding, and just kind of directing and focusing that tension to our hands to let it go. It gives us that control back, that okay, we can let it go, we can put this down, you know. And I love it. It's one of my favorites.
So awesome. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful, babe.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, as I mentioned, it's truly beneficial for us. But I mean, even if you guys do enough research and it's so much in science, there's just so many beneficial aspects to breathing and tapping in and grounding ourselves. And it's just a great reminder, you know?
Exactly. And like we have to remember that we are all made up of energy, and that's why it's so important to do these things, you know, if we can speak nicely about ourselves, you know, because that we're listening, our subconscious is always listening all the time. So yeah, it's a great tool to add to your kit.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah, I'd love to ask you. I'd love to ask you, because I love collecting just stories of almost like rebirth, kind of, because you were going the nurse path, and then you decided to kind of switch paths. What made you go down the nurse path? And we know why you ended up just kind of transitioning, but what made you go down that path, and was it easy to kind of like let go of that path and then follow like your work with breathwork?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've died and been reborn like multiple times in my life, and that goes for everyone, whether or not it's like a big death or not. So my oldest brother, he was basically like our dad, and he passed away from heart failure, and he was such a big part of our lives that when he passed, I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do for him. Like I couldn't have helped him. I kept thinking like if I knew more about the medicine field, or if I knew how to, like help with his diet or his exercise, that he would be alive today. And like it just shattered me. It completely broke me. And it was so crazy because all my life I was running away from doing nursing because that is a Filipino stereotype. Like everyone knows out the womb we are being trained to go into nursing or the doctor field or something, right? And my mom was a nursing home administrator when I was a child, so that's why I was like, no, I don't want to do this because I was
Mhm.
traumatized, from being there all the time. And then
Mhm.
it took my brother's death to make me realize like I wanted to do something more significant to help other people, and when I was going through this nursing field, one of my best friends passed away from cancer, and it was just reaffirming me that I needed to learn how to heal. But the profession, I got that kind of twisted because I just thought, okay, heal. When I think of healing, I think of nursing.
Mhm.
And it wasn't till I was about to apply for the doctorate's program for nursing and working in COVID that I was like, I don't have to heal people in the nursing field. Like, I can do this on the outside. And like, I had confirming messages from like my guides, my ancestors that, I was needed during COVID because we had such low staff, and like I was needed to be there to help. But once the hospital started kind of relaxing a little bit, or at least implementing more staff, that was like my go ahead, like, okay, you can leave this now. And I realized during COVID, a lot of people were reaching out to me to do reiki, to do energy healing, and asking me to do tarot readings because they just felt so, like all of us, we all felt lost. We all felt unsure. The foundation underneath us was so shaky, and like we just didn't know what was going to come next. So a lot of people started turning to like self-help, self-improvement, and learning more about themselves. And I was able to kick off my healing business in the middle of COVID, which was
Wow.
crazy. And at the time, DJing was like non-existent. Everything was shut down, and at the same time I was kind of grateful for that because it caused me to slow down and focus on my health and my healing. So yeah, that the transition was scary, so scary. My
Yeah.
partner was like, scarcity was totally flared up, right? Like we're like, oh my God, like you don't even know about money, like you don't know if this is gonna be like a consistent thing. But I just felt so confident, and I just trusted completely that I had to jump, and that I would be taken care of as long as I had the willingness to keep trying, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, now I'm here, doing all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's so amazing to hear your story because I feel like people need to just, hear these stories to feel like they can relate and they're seen as well. Because
Right.
it hit us all. We're all coming out of this PTSD. I'd love to know about the Hawaii community because it's not just tourism, it's not just the beaches or the tasty food. Like, can you tell anyone who's watching, like, what is the vibe in the community and your collective like?
So, oh my gosh, majority of my collective is BIPOC, which I love, and
Yeah.
I love that everyone is very vulnerable, and I try really hard to put that on my top. Like I said, safety is the utmost importance to me. And I think that's what my community and my collective and just Hawaii in general needs, is that safety. And a lot of us come from a lot of ancestral trauma because, we are colonized. We are living in the kingdom of Hawaii, which is taken over. And like, this
Yeah.
is, even though I'm born and I live here, this is not my home. This is the home of Hawaiians, right? And there's just a lot of protection going on right now, and there needs to be a lot of healing right now, and a lot of narratives that need to be rewritten, and a lot of justice that needs to happen right now. So, um, I don't know. I guess the one word I would describe Hawaii and the community is powerful. Like I feel so much power, and especially like just even stepping on this land or any of the islands, it's powerful, and it's my duty, and everyone's duty and responsibility as outsiders of Hawaii to pay that respect to the people and the land. So I just, yeah, power. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that. Because yeah, we don't know what it's like living on an island, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
and it
especially like Hawaii. It's like there are so many things that are occurring, right? Like I remember during like the fall or like late summer, everyone was going to Hawaii. It was like crazy. Everyone was there, and there was like a water shortage happening, right? Because all like the tourists were like using all like the water, and
yeah.
then the local Hawaiians couldn't get like it just was they were taking away from them, and so we
Mm-hmm.
had planned to go. And I was watching that news unfold, and I was like, I really try really hard to always be super conscious, and so I was like, you know what, this isn't the time for us to be going there. Like they don't need us there, and I think that's
Yeah.
sort of just like consciousness, that questioning of yourself, and just always trying to be, protective of environments and places, even if you're not from there, is so like
Mm-hmm.
important.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because you're right. There was a lot of
Yeah.
people wanting to come here. I had friends that wanted to come here, but a lot of them made the conscious decision to not, and our
Yes.
governor did ask no one come here, you know,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of like, oh my God, like locals only, that vibe
Yeah.
of like like stay off our island, because
Yeah.
we're trying to recuperate right now, and like it was such a tough time, like, and even now, there's I don't know if you guys see it on the national news, but the Navy has oh my gosh, it's just I get really emotional thinking about it because even though I'm smiling, I'm actually really pissed thinking about
Yeah.
it. But it's just so right now, in the Salt Lake area, this is where I live actually, Red Hill, that's where a military base is. There has been a gas leakage in all of our water. So we do not have clean water here. And the military is trying to cover it up, and like that's right now, that's what's going on is that even when you would like, from the sink, like, because usually when you drink water from the sink in Hawaii, it's okay. We have good water. But
Okay.
recently, like when you pull it out of the sink, you'll see like a residue of
Oh,
gas, and
wow.
oil. And it's just right now, like that's what everyone is kind of trying to bring awareness about, and we're demanding for clean water. And there's a bunch of resources floating online, but again, practice that discernment. Check the resources. Is it coming
Mm.
from a Hawaiian resource,
Mm.
or is it coming from like a military Navy resource, right? So just practicing discernment and doing whatever we can to help. I know there's a lot of efforts being put toward right now, and I can actually list some resources in the chat later that
Yeah.
you can check out to learn more about this fucking cover up. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't mean to swear, but
That's
this
so
is
vital
this
to
is
the
where
community.
it's at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you. Yeah,
well,
please let
hopefully
me
we
know.
can,
Yeah.
hopefully that can be fixed as soon as possible. Like that's like just a natural human thing that we need fresh
Right.
water, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's
So much,
thank you
Rihanna.
for giving me the space to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love all the work that you're doing for your community, and we'll still be following you and supporting you. And
Yeah.
you guys go ahead and check out Rihanna's website at Rihanna Stelberg.
Yeah. Dot
.com.
com.
Yeah, she has so many cool services. And if you're ever in Hawaii, she does like Reiki sessions and packages. And she has a really cool set of candles. You got to support her and her small business.
Oh,
Got to
awesome.
support.
Are you also
And
doing virtual like Reiki
Yeah.
sessions and like
Yeah,
okay,
so
and breathwork?
actually,
Or I don't know.
this tomorrow, actually, I'm doing a collective breathwork session over
Oh,
Zoom.
oh,
So
okay.
if you
awesome.
guys are interested, it's 5 p.m. Hawaii time. But yeah, I lead a group into breathwork, the active breathing, a little bit more intense than what we did today. And then I do energy healing, and I do it to a curated playlist that I made, which is me basically DJing my
Yeah,
container.
so
Yeah, so
cool.
yeah, I have that online tomorrow, and then this Saturday it's sold out already, which is amazing. I'm so thankful. I will start doing energy healing group sessions at Hawaii State Art Museum, which is really cool. But yeah, lots of
Amazing.
things. Yeah.
Amazing.
Great. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, check out also her monthly tap in, right? I believe it's called The Session.
Which one?
Just one
The
December messages.
Yeah, yeah. So I always do a collective message. So you can go ahead, sign up for my newsletter. You will get the first hearing of it, and yeah, lots of fun things. I'm Hawaii now too. Oh, nice.
Yeah, you gotta link up. You guys are both amazing Filipinos in
Yeah,
the community. You gotta link up with our homegirl out there. And thank you
yeah.
so much. Yeah, and you guys, please be sure, whoever is watching still, follow us, the Conscious Kitchen podcast, subscribe to us, share it with a friend. If anyone gets benefit from this amazing session we had right now, go ahead and share it with them right now. Yeah.
Yes,
Yay.
yes. And then
Thank you
Rihanna,
guys.
if there are any additional resources you want to like comment when we post the video, because we'll post this and then it'll live on our page, you can just like tag anything that anyone should follow or any resources you want to share with us. We'd greatly appreciate that.
I
Yeah.
will. I will.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
again.
Kimmy, for
Thank
staying
you
on as
guys for
well.
having me. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
for putting this
Yeah.
Hawaii girl on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hawaii. All right, baby. Have a good
I'll,
rest of your
I'll
week.
see you
Sending
guys.
you so much
Bye.
love.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Have a great
Bye.
day.
Bye.
Bye.